What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Mekhi back at it in the building. Feel me? Now, today, we're going to go a little bit different. It's a recommended video from Cosgrove. It's called What Happened to These 9 Significant NBA Items. So we're going to see what's going on. Seems like they started with the Wilt's 100-point game, so we're going to see what's going on. If you guys like what I'm doing, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Recommend some videos that you guys want me to see in the future. And let's go ahead and get into it. I'm liking the intro. I love Cosgrove's videos, by the way.
What happened to these significant NBA items? Here we have one of the most famous pictures in NBA history. A picture of Wilt Chamberlain sitting in his locker holding up a piece of paper with 100 written on it, obviously referring to the amount of points he had just scored versus the New York Knicks on March 2nd, 1962. The most points ever scored by an individual player in an NBA game. This photo is so iconic that even players to this day feel the need to reenact it whenever they have a high-scoring game. Just the other day, I randomly asked myself, is that exact piece of paper even around anymore? Remember, this ain't just any old piece of paper. I truly believe that it should be framed and hung up somewhere, but apparently at the time, no one had the sense to not throw it away. Trust me, I tried looking for any information on where it might be, but unfortunately, my efforts led to nowhere. I hate to say it, but maybe this legendary piece of paper is no longer with us. However, the next big thing I would imagine is the official score sheet from that game. This is actually pretty significant considering there isn't any footage of the game. Sure, it might not be as cool as the 100 paper he took this photo with. That definitely gets a lot more love. But at least this score sheet was autographed by Wilt after the game, adding to its value, and was eventually sold in 2019 for a whopping $214,000. Another item that is definitely worth mentioning from that night is the actual game ball that was used in that 100-point game. The story goes that a kid named Kerry Ryman allegedly stole the ball after the game and would eventually go on to sell the ball in the year 2000 shortly after Wilt passed away for about $550,000. That was until questions were raised about its authenticity, ultimately only selling for around $67,000 in the end. As expected, many people were skeptical about Ryman's story and how he was able to get his hands on that ball so easily, but there's just as many people who do believe him as well. In fact, they saw him take the ball with their own 2 eyes.
I talked with a number of people in Hershey who saw Kerry Ryman that night at the game, ball in hand, running out of the arena.
See, here's the thing. With that whole Wilt Chamberlain thing, man, like, these are questions you gotta really ask. The score sheet, I knew that was real. I knew that was real. We've seen that. I mean, come on. But yeah. Interestingly enough, I thought the NBA would have at least tried to buy that back. At least I don't know. I thought, or what about even the paper, the 100-point game paper? That's actually something I actually never knew. I thought that we actually kept that. I thought we had that. There's a lot of questions about that specific night that I have about that. Not even just did that game or did that night even happen, like the 100-point game, just other things. But that's a topic for a different video.
Whenever the infamous Pistons-Pacers brawl, aka the Malice at the Palace, is talked about, the only thing that people seem to really care about is who was the person who threw the cup at Ron Artest. You know, the cup that started it all. We eventually found out that it was this man named John Green. So as of today, I'm more interested in solving the mystery of where is that cup now? I'm probably one of a handful of people who actually wonders about that. Where is that cup?
Okay, this is reaching, bro. Don't nobody care where this cup is, bro. I don't care where this cup is, bro. I just wanted to know who threw the cup. And then the fact that Ron Artest attacked the wrong person. He didn't even attack the right person who threw the cup. Ain't nobody care where that cup went.
Of course, I did a quick Google search and came across an old article from 2004, the year in which the fight occurred, that stated, an item purported to be the cup thrown from the stands at Pacers player Ron Artest last Friday night was on eBay for less than 24 hours after bidding went out of control. The cup, listed for sale by someone from Sterling Heights, Michigan, was put up for auction Monday, but the bidding was closed on Tuesday afternoon when the price went up to nearly $100 million, which I assume was some sort of troll. In the description of the cup, the seller wrote, "No sports collection will be complete without the addition of this vintage championship collector's edition beer cup. Simply a must for all Artest fans." There were also several photos of the cup hitting Artest, though there is no way to prove its authenticity. Now, whether any of that was a legitimate report is unknown. I also stumbled upon a Reddit post from 10 years ago by a user who claims to have that cup in his possession. He goes on this whole spiel about how he was gifted tickets to that game for his birthday, and that he actually saw John Green throw the cup at Artest. He says that he never took his eyes off the cup the entire time, and once the security guards demanded that everyone leave the building in a calmly manner, he and his girlfriend retrieved the cup. Now, of course, people in the comment section had a hard time believing his story, and honestly, so do I, but hey, I guess you never know. I truly wonder if anyone actually had the wherewithal to keep that cup, as I'm sure it would be worth something today. If someone out there actually has it in their possession, I ain't gonna lie, that would be a pretty big flex. We've all seen Kobe Bryant's retirement speech he gave after dropping 60 points in the final game of his career. That night, he would say those iconic words, "Mamba out," before walking off the court for the last time. So with that being said, that would automatically make this towel that Kobe wore over his shoulders during that speech pretty valuable, right? Well, the answer is yes, because apparently that towel recently sold for around $30,000. Now, you may be thinking that that's way too much money to drop on a freaking towel, even if it belonged to Kobe. But if you think about it, this speech will be rewatched over and over again for a very long time. So if you put it that way, it would be pretty cool to be able to say you have it. Now the question is, who was the lucky fan that Kobe threw his towel at? Well, he didn't throw it at anyone, because if you look closely, it was actually stolen from him. But by the looks of it, he didn't really seem to care. That fan who pulled the towel off his shoulders went on to sell it for just a little over $8,000 that year in 2016. But it looks like he might have sold it a little too soon, because as I mentioned earlier, just a few years later, it was sold again for around $30,000 this time. Obviously, with his death having something to do with that.
Well, my thing is with stuff like that, unless they have either an autograph or they have some type of message on there saying like this is from the NBA or this is from authenticated from, they have a little message. You know how when you get like Mitchell and Ness or a jersey or something, there's a little message that says like this is from the NBA or this is from such and such. Unless it has that on there, how can you really authenticate like this is from this moment in time just because it looks like it? That's one thing I've always asked. Like, if you're selling something, especially like Kobe's towel, like there's a lot of towels that looks like that. I mean, you could get a towel that looks like that, but I mean, I don't know how you would prove to someone selling it to them that is Kobe's towel. I don't know how they do that. If y'all can let me know in the comment section, that would be great, but I don't know.
2010, an auction was held in Macau, revolving around pop culture artifacts, with items that included Michael Keaton's Batman Returns costume, which sold for $43,000, a ball gown worn by Princess Diana for $114,000, and Bruce Lee's Game of Death stunt double costume, which sold for $18,000. But apparently none of those items compared to this basketball signed by both Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson, which was used in the 1992 music video Jam. The price that this item sold for? $294,000. The video had both MJs doing what they did best, and they even gave each other's craft a try. One particular part in that music video showed them playing one-on-one, and afterwards they both signed said basketball, so no wonder it went for so much money. Imagine having a basketball that was not only held by both MJs, but autographed as well, and was also featured in this music video. video. Man, I'm surprised Magic Johnson didn't show up to be the third MJ. I mean, he would fit right in.
Oh my God.
I don't know about you guys, but whenever I watch this clip of Steph Curry throwing his mouth guard towards the crowd right before getting ejected in Game 6 of the 2016 NBA Finals, a random thought always pops in my head: whatever happened to that mouth guard? So I finally looked it up, and at first I thought I found the answer. There are multiple articles stating that a Steph Curry used mouth guard officially sold for $3,000 back in 2016. I automatically assumed that it had to be the one from the throwing incident in that year's finals, because again, every article said 2016. But apparently all those search results were about a completely different Steph Curry used mouthguard that just so happened to sell for $3,000 around the same time. This one, which has Curry's name and number as well as the Warriors logo on it, was picked up by a fan after Curry had left it on the bench earlier in that 2016 regular season, which is cool and all, but just imagine what the value of this one from the 2016 NBA Finals is, if that's how much a regular season one went for. You can clearly see this guy pointing to the mouthguard on the ground, and then proceeds to pick it up and put it on the scores table. But unfortunately, there's been no word on who wound up with it. Curry said that he never got it back. So apparently someone out there still has the now infamous Game 6 mouthguard. We just don't know who. Now, if you think buying a used mouthguard is weird, wait until you hear this. Back when Luka Doncic was just a rookie, one fan took the get-rich-quick scheme to a whole new level. Believe it or not, what you're looking at was an actual eBay listing for a piece of Luka's game-used chewing gum. That's right, a piece of gum that was literally chewed by Luka. Here's the eBay seller's story. Quote, "I saw him spit out the gum in the first quarter behind the goalpost, and I knew I had to retrieve it after the game. It also came with the program and ticket stub as well." The game he was referring to took place on January 27th, 2019 versus the Toronto Raptors. That was the game where he supposedly obtained the gum. So how much exactly was this seller asking for? Well, as you can see, the starting bid was set at $10,000. The listing was also posted on Reddit, and predictably the reaction it got wasn't all that great. And lastly, we got an interesting backstory of a piece of gum that was chewed by LeBron James.
I am here to talk to you about something that I found very interesting while I was moving back to Akron, Ohio. And my mother had told me a number of years ago that she had bought something of LeBron James's. And as you can see here, it is a green piece of, I think, bubble gum that is signed by LeBron James in 2005, that he actually took this gum and placed it underneath the podium before speaking, which was then signed and auctioned off later. My mom paid $500 for this signed autographed piece of gum. It was a nice little different thing to have because it had LeBron's DNA.
I was gonna be making stuff sound like scary, like whoa, you know what I'm saying? But at first I thought, like, so far I spoke way too soon. I thought that the most useless item was gonna be that cup, that throwing cup. I was like, bro, who cares? I thought this was gonna be some meaningful stuff. Nah, the chewing gum definitely took it away from me. That definitely took it away from me. That's actually really disgusting, bro. And the people who actually buy that stuff, bro, that is disgusting, bro. That's bizarre to, like, you know, to buy those type of items. Like, I know people. I saw not too long ago Michael Jordan's underwear got auctioned off, bro. Like, what do you do with that stuff, bro? Like, maybe so of like the cup, like that makes more sense. But someone's chewing gum, like you owning that, it makes no sense. No, I thought this video was gonna be something completely different, but I mean, it was pretty interesting to look at. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Until my next video, man, I'm gonna catch y'all.